Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are doing fine, and welcome to the sixth meeting of the Pacific Soil Partnership. To open the meeting, we have the Pacific Soil Partnership Chair ad interim, Dr. Siwa Alavatau, that will deliver us some opening remarks. Dr. Alavatau, the floor is yours, please. We cannot hear you. Can you please unmute yourself and maybe also turn on your video? Siwa, we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Okay, can you?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, but can you see me now?
No. Wait, it's coming maybe. Yes, perfect. Over to you.
Okay, okay. Hello, everyone. I think I start by a bit of salutation. Respected members of international agencies, I think we have Mr. Li Fang, the director of FAO Land and Water, with us. We have some regional partners from Australia, TFET, Asia, CSRO. We have from New Zealand, AMFET, Manak Whenua Land Care Research, New Zealand Limited. We have with us Dr. Pierre Rodier, who is the current chair of the Australasian Soil Science Conference. And from the Pacific region community, we have USP, SPC, Land Resource Division. And we have the Deputy Director, MS Florence Rahiria, with us. And from the national countries, we have Directors of Agriculture and Pacific Soil Partnership focal point. And lastly, we have in this gathering eminent soil scientists from all over the region. In the spirit of partnership, the Pacific Soil Partnership acknowledges the traditional custodians of all the Pacific Islands and their connection to land, ecosystem, and communities. Pacific Soil members, the biggest challenge for soil science in our region is to combine the important role of soils for climate change with its crucial role in food production for the growing population in our islands. No is more pressing than in our Pacific Island states, especially our atoll nations. The downward spiral of soil productivity and its impacts on food, water, energy security, and climate change in our islands. If we do not arrest this downward spiral, our islands will be doomed. I remember as a young soil scientist listening to Professor Norman Borlaug, Nobel Peace Laureate in the 1994 Soil Science Congress in Acapulco, Mexico. He challenges us soil scientists to come up with improved soil management strategies to push the yield ceilings of agricultural crops. This was a challenge put to us by plant breeders. It is very true for us soil scientists in our region. We need to work together, and walk the talks to address this downward spiral in our soil productivity. Pacific Soil Partnership members, including soil scientists from Australia and New Zealand, this is our mandate, and the Pacific Ministers of Agriculture in 2023 endorsed raising soil security to the same level as food, water, and energy security, as well as climate change. Pacific Island soil scientists, we will still need our brothers and sisters from Australia and New Zealand and elsewhere to support us financially, expertise, and facilities. but we need to empower our local growers with our cultural heritage and values in farming and combine it with outside cooperation, and in doing so, take things into our own hands and determine our destiny. With this PSP members network, our success will depend on active partnership. I wish us all a successful two-day meeting. Malo Pito and God bless you all. Thank you.
Many thanks to you for the inspiring speech. The next speaker for the opening remarks is actually Director Li Lifeng from the Land and Water Division at FAO in Rome, that is also serving as current secretariat ad interim of the Global Soil Partnership. Unfortunately, because of the time difference, he cannot be with us live, but I have a video recording of his intervention. So again, I will share my screen and allow you to see his welcome remarks.
Dr. Halawatu, Pacific Soil Partnership Chair at interim, distinguished guests, dear colleagues. I'm very pleased to greet all of the distinguished participants of the 6th Pacific Soil Partnership meeting and welcome all of you to this crucial meeting focused on soil health and sustainable soil management. Since the establishment of this regional soil partnership in 2014, we have gathered annually to address the pressing issues of soil degradation which threaten food and water security. Today, we meet to assess progress and explore innovative strategies and to foster collaboration within the framework of the Global Soil Partnership. The agenda of today provides rich discussion opportunities on various project ideas that tackle technical matters, communications, and policy challenges in soil management of the region. These ideas were discussed by FAO regional and sub-regional offices and our partners over the past 8 months. Your hard work has been instrumental, and I trust that the ideas presented today will reach a consensus and be implemented effectively in the future. I also acknowledge the FAO sub-regional office for the Pacific Iceland for their support to implement the GSP action framework. Incorporating the framework into regional strategies is essential for adapting it to national context and mobilize partnerships and resources. Colleagues, we are facing the challenges of climate change, biodiversity loss, and food insecurity. Thus, integrated solutions that include soil, land, and water resource management must be adopted and scaled up. In this regard, I encourage all of you to participate in the upcoming International Soil and Water Forum in Thailand this December, co-organized by FAO and the Thai government. Let us continue to work together to safeguard healthy soils for resilient communities, food security, and a sustainable future. Wishing all a very productive meeting, and thank you.
Okay, these were the opening remarks
Dr.
of
Halawatu, Pacific Soil
sorry,
Partnership Chair.
it's starting in the loop again. These were the opening remarks of Director Li Feng, that really regrets not to be with us today. Next, since he also mentioned it in his speech, is Mr. Raushan Kumar, Forestry Officer at FAO Sub-Regional Office for the Pacific Islands. Raushan, over to you, please.
Thank you. Dr. Yosua, Pacific Soil Partnership Chair ad interim, Ms. Karen, Director, Land Resource Division in SPC, senior government officers from the Pacific countries, officers from the CSIRO, ASPSC, USP, SROS, and other research institutions, my FAO colleagues, and members of the Soil Partnership. Good afternoon. On behalf of FAO Sub-Regional Coordinator, Ms. Jiangzun Yao, it is my privilege and honor to welcome you to the 6th meeting of the Pacific Soil Partnership. Since the establishment of the partnership in 2014, we have been meeting annually and more frequently. Respected participants, as per the decisions made at the Pacific Week of Agriculture and Forestry in 2023, the coordination of the Pacific Soil Partnership is being transferred to the Pacific Community, SPC, which is recruiting a person to fully dedicate themselves to coordinate and resource the implementation of the activities across the region. Since November 2023, FAO has had privilege to coordinate and prepare a regional work plan on sustainable soil management. I would like to extend my gratitude to Australian Centre for International Agriculture Research, the Australasian Soil and Plant Analysis Council, ASPAC, the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, CSIRO, Manaki Wainua Land Care Research, MWLR, and the Pacific Community SPC, Land Resource Division, Soil Science Australia, University of South Pacific, and all the soil experts in the region who have entrusted FAO to lead this effort and collaborated in the development of this work plan. During the development, the group has reviewed previous and ongoing projects in FAO and partners' portfolio, identified critical and persistent gaps and issues. They discussed technical and financial contributions, as well as the project opportunities, and developed a feasible and coordinated work plan. This has been never achieved before. It's one of the best piece of document which has been developed during this consultation. I'm looking forward with sincere interest to the outcomes of this meeting. If the Pacific Soil Partnership approves the regional work plan on sustainable soil management, FAO stands ready to identify opportunities with regional development partners and other countries bilaterally to implement these plans in the member countries. Respected participants, now I would like to warmly welcome the Pacific Community SPC in its new role as the PSP Secretariat. The Pacific region is unique, and and such is the Pacific Soil Partnership. I believe that this transition of leadership from the Global Soil Partnership Secretariat in Rome to SPC marks a pivotal moment for the partnership. One can lead to positive transformative changes to safeguard the health of our soil and and contribute towards the agri-food system transformation. With the SPC's deep regional knowledge and commitment, I am confident that this new phase will enhance our collaborative effort to protect and sustain the soil in the Pacific. On behalf of FAO Sub-Regional Office and the GSP, I would like to thank the SPC and all members in the region for their commitment to the partnership. FAO is ready to work with SPC and all the members during this transition period. This integration is pivotal in adapting the GSP action framework to national and regional contexts, assisting countries with their financial resource mobilization, and developing targeted projects on the land and soil and water-related issues, which are aligned to the national development plans and national priorities. In conclusion, I want to emphasize the crucial importance of integrated soil, land, and water management in the face of changing climate. As Director highlighted, that FAO is organizing one conference in December in Bangkok to discuss such issues at the regional level. It would be a good platform where Pacific countries can participate and have a good deliberation. I wish you all a fruitful discussions and deliberation and productive outcomes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raushan. Last but not least, we have the pleasure to have Director Karen Mapuzua, Director of Land Resources Division at the Pacific Community. Director Mapuzua, the floor is yours. Thanks.
Thank you so much, everybody. Warm greetings from the Pacific community, acknowledging all the great minds that are in the room and the expertise that we have across the partners of the Pacific Soils Partnership. So thank you for the opportunity to say a few words this morning. Soil, as you all know, is an essential resource and a vital part of our natural environment from which most of our global food and our food in the Pacific is produced. That said, my colleagues in the fisheries space would probably debate that. At the same time, soil provides living space for humans, as well as ecosystem services, which are important for water regulation and supply, climate regulation, biodiversity conservation, carbon sequestration, and of course, cultural services. But soils are under pressure from population, from climate change, from higher demands for food, and in some areas, even competition with things like tourism. So there's a lot of work to do. It's a critical resource for the Pacific countries and territories, especially for food production for our people. There's significant diversity in soil resources across the region, again, as you all know, along with challenges in soil functionality, information availability, capacity, and environmental pressures. The soils vary between atolls and volcanic islands and within those islands. The challenges were highlighted during a 2014 meeting attended by soil experts, universities, and research institutions from 12 Pacific countries, as well as the Pacific Community and the Food and Agriculture Organization. And it was from this meeting that the Pacific Soil Partnership was established under the Global Soil Partnership to promote sustainable soil management in the Pacific. So that makes this your 10th birthday, which is quite a milestone. Back then, the initial governance arrangements were established with the intent for SPC to serve as secretariat. But I note with the appreciation the support of CSIRO in secretariat work over the period from now until present, where we're able to take on that role fully. The key areas of focus for the PSP have always been to include developing soil management solutions, strengthening soil information systems, and enhancing laboratory capacity for soil analysis. There have been stops and starts over this 10 years. In 2016, a working group was formed to manage soil data standards, but its activities lapsed. In 2019, in a PSP meeting in Brisbane, there was the development of a regional implementation framework, but again, a lack of resources hindered progress. And then, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic further impacted PSP activities. That is not to say that nothing has moved and nothing has happened. The key word here, I think, is partnership. It's not really about what the Secretariat does, that's a supporting function. It's about what the members of the partnership do on the ground. And the Australian Soil and Plant Analysis Council has supported Pacific Island countries and territories in quality assurance for labs, improving outcomes in soil analysis, in soil and plant analysis. The Pacific Soils Portal was launched in 2018 to centralize soil data for the region and now represents data from multiple Pacific countries. Australia's CSIRO, New Zealand's Manaki Whenua Landcare Research, along with SPC and soil experts and practitioners from Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, and Tuvalu, through an ACR-funded project, Soil Management in the Pacific, have been investigating ways to improve soil health across these countries. And of course, at the 8th regional meeting of the Pacific Heads of Agriculture and Forestry Services in 2023, soil was elevated to the same level as food, water, energy security, and climate resilience. We now need to work out what that means, what it looks like, and how it's implemented. One of those steps is the work that my colleague from FAO spoke about. Another step is the new strategy for agriculture and forestry, Growing the Pacific, which has moved from a focus on sustainability to a focus on regeneration, with a soil, of course, at the heart of that. And as was also mentioned, SPC has now recruited a soils coordinator to manage the PSP network. And I'd like to acknowledge Australia for supporting this role through funding given to SPC to develop the technical networks that we house and support. I understand that the PSP is still in the process of properly defining governance arrangements and operational procedures. Being housed in SPC, we have a role to ensure that our members are properly represented and that arrangements align with good governance principles, are robust and transparent, with all necessary accountabilities in place to maintain this. I know there has been a process for nominations for the chair and vice chair to be appointed at this meeting. Unfortunately, this process did not align with some respects of the governance expectations of SPC member countries, and we'll need to revisit this with a new process as soon as the governance arrangements are agreed and finalised. SPC will work diligently to ensure that this happens quickly and smoothly, and I apologise that we've gone so far down the track before this issue was identified. It was simply an oversight, no real problems with it. We just do need to make sure that our governance arrangements are aligned and provide the confidence that our heads of agriculture and our ministries of foreign affairs require from a body such as this. Just in closing, I'd like to acknowledge the collaboration of the various research institutes in supporting the soils work in the Pacific, and also the work of FAO through the Global Soil Partnership, and for providing the coordination to support to the Pacific over this extended period. Finally, all of you on the call, the national focal points, to continue to promote the importance of soils and work to improve soil management every day in your home countries. Thank you. I wish you well for the meeting, and SPC looks forward to supporting the development of the Pacific Soils Partnership into the future. Waftai.
Many thanks, Director Mapuza. And with this, indeed, I also wish everybody a fruitful meeting. Now I would like to pass the floor to the moderator of the first session of the day, that is Dr. Alavatau, for moderating the session on countries' progresses and news on sustainable soil management and soil health. Dr. Alavatau, over to you. Thanks. We cannot hear. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. Is and Lucrecia will be controlling the presentation from the computer, and I will now ask the countries in this list. If you have a presentation, you can do the presentation. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next country. So I think we will ask Rowena Yates from the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry in Australia to present the country report for Australia.
They can share their screen and be independent.
Yeah, if you have yours with you, you can share the screen. Sorry.
Thank you, Siwa. I will just share my screen. Bear with me, sorry everyone. I'm hoping everyone can see that now. Yes, thank you. Okay, so hello, thank you for having me. My name is Rowan Yates. I am the Acting Assistant Director of the Soil Policy Section within the Australian Government Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry, and I'm here in my role as focal point to the GSP and PSP to provide a national update. I decided to focus a little bit into the implementation of our National Soil Strategy and National Soil Action Plan as a way of information sharing to support other countries in their ambition to also create these documents. So in 2021, the Australian government released the National Soil Strategy, and in November last year, the National Soil Action Plan, the first of 4 action plans under the strategy. The action plan guides government and non-government action on Australia's soil over the next 5 years. There are a range of partners, including Australian state and territory governments, industry, the soil science research community, and natural resource management groups. There are 4 priority actions of the action plan with commitments across measurement, strategy, adoption, and capacity to be delivered by 2028. The action plan and strategy are central to the Australian government's support for soil health as a part of a productive, climate smart, and sustainable agriculture sector. Implementing the action plan is multifaceted. All action plan partners have agreed to support the priority action areas over the 5-year plan. The department is developing an action plan implementation package, which includes a monitoring and evaluation framework to measure progress on achieving the action plan's priorities. Concurrently, on-ground activities are continuing to be supported and delivered to ensure long-term soil security. The Australian Government is partnering with states and territories through bilateral partnership agreements to deliver locally appropriate soil-related activities that progress the priority actions. Some examples of these projects include developing extension activities and materials to help farmers improve agricultural soils, increasing access to and the quality of soil data through the development of new tools and materials, mentoring early career soil scientists to improve knowledge and capacity, and increasing engagement with First Nation peoples to incorporate traditional soil knowledge into future programs. We are also continuing to support regional soil coordinators and a soil extension community of practice. The regional soil coordinators facilitate soil extension services, and the community of practice promotes soil knowledge sharing in sustainable land management. The government is also bolstering our national soil information data and outreach efforts. The development of the National Soil Information Framework is ongoing, and stakeholder engagement is informing our approach going forward. The National Soil Monitoring Program is also progressing, with the methodology and approach for soil collection now finalised. Additionally, ANZUS version 1.1 was released in June 2024, and work on ANZUS Phase 2 has commenced. The platform providing improved access, sharing, and use of nationally consistent soil data and information to help sustainably manage our soil and to support decision-making and policy outcomes. This targeted support for soil is supported by government's broad-reaching investments in drought resilience through the Future Drought Fund and Climate Smart Agriculture Program. These help the agriculture sector to grow its productivity and sustainability by supporting farmers to adopt climate smart practices that manage emissions, build resilience to climate change, improve soil health, and protect natural capital. So that's me, but I will let Uda, my colleague from the CSIRO, elaborate on Australian government activities in the region. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rowena. So, is there any other intervention from Australia, or we will move on? Lucretia?
That was the only intervention.
CSRO will talk later.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think we'll see how far we go, and then if some burning issues at the end of the presentation, we can have some discussion. But I would like to ask William Wickmore from Cook Island if he has got his presentation, or if it's with you, Lucretia. Cook Island, please.
Thank you, Silva. Yeah, I did send my presentation to Miss Cowan.
Yeah, let me
But
share the
all,
presentation because we are running late, and I think it's just faster if I share the
yeah,
presentations.
thank you.
Can you see?
Yes, if thank you very much. Yes, I'll just quickly mention about some of the activities happening in the country, and some of the what I would term as detrimental practices, and some activities or improvements that we can make regarding better managing soils. In the country, we do not have a soil strategy or action plan like some countries have. In the latest Agriculture Act, it basically talks around production of crops and livestock, and limited emphasis on soil health. So this is, I would say, something that's crucial for the ministry and government to look into, especially sustaining soil management and improving soil health. So over the last 10 or so years, we have been advocating, and I mean the ministry, on soil health and sustainable soil management, basically through FAO support, through FAO TCP, technical cooperation projects. We have done some capacity building in the islands for agriculture and farmers. And also SPC, lately SPC was in the country also to bring about some capacity building, mainly for agriculture staff and also some farmers. Most of our soils are low in N, nitrogen and phosphorus, and also very low in organic carbon. And this is going back to some of the soil surveys that was done back in the 80s. So with the continuous crop production in the country, and I would say very limited addition of organic matter to the soil, it would be interesting to see what levels of carbon we have in our soils. It wouldn't be surprising that the levels would be quite low at this time, especially for soils which are continually cropped. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just low the connection, but you should see the pictures.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I just some of the pictures that I have here. The one on the left with the trees. These are Java plum trees from one of the outer islands. I took these pictures about 30 years ago, and some of these areas used to be cropped with pineapple and citrus, and it has been in virgin bush for the last 30 or so years, and something we advocate through our trainings and in these islands is that before we decide on any crop production in these areas, it has to be done properly. Because there's still a lot of limited understanding of a lot of farmers and a lot in the community around good soil management practices, sustainable soil management, and sustainable health. There seems to be a lot of emphasis by some most commercial farmers on the use of inorganic inputs, fertilizers, and chemicals to improve crop production. And I've also included some pictures there of limited cultivation. This is one problem in the country where there's a lot of deep plowing, especially by commercial vegetable growers, and also the use of organic matter has been encouraged through the trainings, but it seems too difficult for a lot of home gardeners and commercial farmers to bring in organic matter to their plantation. So I think we really need a change in mindset of a lot of our farmers and the community in general about the importance of soil in sustaining crop production, improving crop nutrition, and also to address issues around climate change. Next, please. Yeah, just quickly the unfortunate or detrimental practices that is still going on in the country. One is the burning or the removal of organic matter on farm and also around the homes. Uh, Especially around the homes, a lot of homeowners tend to burn or matter, be it leaves, be it grass clippings, cut grass from around the home. Unfortunately, a lot of these are being burnt and not used in the garden or on the plantation. Deep tillage and sometimes the spraying of grass strips around plantations and on farmlands. Use of plastic mulch, especially in woodland areas where woodland taro is cultivated, removal of grass strips and trees along streams. It's unfortunate that there is, I would say, a lot of times not good communication between public entities. And because a lot of this, the removal of grass strips and sometimes trees along streams is done by a public entity. I would say with limited understanding of the importance of grass strips and trees along streams to protect and minimize soil erosion. Reclaiming on woodland areas, this is mainly for building purposes. A lot of this is happening in the country, and I think on the main island, um, I would say between 5 and 10% of the woodland areas has been reclaimed, and also the development on steep slopes, cutting into the hillsides. Some of these cuts are not being well protected. Thank you. Next slide.
Sorry if I can intervene. Can you please try to get to the conclusion of your presentation because we are giving 3 minutes to each speaker. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Yes. So just quickly, as you can see, burning and also uh, removal of organic matter from woodland taro cultivation. Thank you. My last slide, please. Yes, just a few examples of clearing along drainage areas and also deep plowing. Thank you. Last slide. Yeah, just by way of protecting soil resources, I think education and awareness should be something that the country and the ministry should look into seriously, not only at the farmers level, but right across, excuse me, having better collaboration between stakeholders, a policy or strategy around land use, and guidelines for sustainable soil management. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Just
you, William.
yeah. Thank you. Sorry for taking up too much time.
Yeah, I think to help run these things faster, I will hand over the moderator to Lucrecia also, so she will be more flow. Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Siwa.
you. Thank you very much.
Many thanks also, William. Siwa, my understanding is that you have a last minute commitment as well, so that you have to present today now, right? Siwa.
Yeah, but I think if we finish with the country, so we have a picture of what the problems are, because my slides are trying to summarize what the problems are in the countries.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, yeah, where to push it in, but if you think it can go now, I'm ready to.
Because actually you will not be able to attend the meeting tomorrow.
I will be first hour. I'll try to attend the first hour tomorrow and then head to the airport.
Okay, because your presentation is
I will
actually
leave my house
tomorrow.
at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe, yeah.
Okay, so let's quickly move to the next country. Just to make sure we don't have any representative at the meeting from American Samoa and French Polynesia, right? Okay, I don't see anyone raising their hand. Okay, the next to speak will be from the Federated States of Micronesia. I don't have any presentation from this country. So, Marliter, do you want to take the floor? And I don't know if you have a presentation, a short presentation, or if you want just to make a statement, please. Micronesia? Okay, then let me meanwhile pass the floor to Fiji. Roslyn Dale,
Yes,
I can share your slide if you like.
yes, please.
Okay, you should see them now.
Okay. Greetings from Fiji, Minister of Agriculture and Waterways. I'd like to thank this opportunity given to me to share some of the initiatives taken by Minister of Agriculture. So, next slide, please. I will be starting with some of the issues that we are currently facing in Fiji for the soil. Next slide, please. Next. Next slide, please. From the issues.
Okay. Sorry, because
On
there
the
is a
issue.
delay in displaying the slides.
Yes. Okay. So some of the issues that we are currently facing is the soil erosion, soil degradation, nutrient deficiency, salinity, and climate variability. And the ways that we are addressing the issue is, next slide, is through sustainable farming practices, soil erosion control measures, and reforestation, afforestation, and providing soil testing and amendments, and proper use of water management, and providing education and trainings to the communities involved. Next slide, please. Some of the research initiative that we are currently focusing on is the soil mobile testing services that we are providing to the farmers, whereby we are also teaching them how to do the proper soil sampling and also testing their soils and issuing them with the soil health card. Next slide, please. This is the soil health card, whereby it contains the farmer information and the results for their soil test, and also some of the ideal values that is suitable for most of the crops, and also the fertilizer application rates which they can use. So this is also helpful to the farmers, as they won't be spending too much money on the fertilizer and buying unnecessary fertilizer to apply on their fields. Next slide, please. Next one.
I skipped the soil health card.
Yes,
Okay.
I've already talked about it. So these are some of the pictures, like on the field where the samples are collected and the soil health analysis is done and the distribution of soil health card to the farmers. Next one, please. Okay, the next one is the ongoing research, organic research that is ongoing, and it is provided by Ministry of Agriculture and Water ways to provide sustainable farming to restore soil health. So we are providing free bacterium culture to the farmers, whereby these farmers are using this bacterium culture to accelerate the rate of decomposition for the compost, and this compost they are using it on their fields. It is also there are some success stories whereby farmers have also told that these fertilizers, when they are applied on their farms, on their crops, so it boosts the plant growth and also the nutrient uptake. So we are also doing some ongoing research trial on these for farming formulations, and we are currently working in collaboration with other companies and government bodies to promote the use of biosolids. Next one, please. Some of the initiative that is followed by our land use department is they are providing a lot of community awareness, and they are also establishing demonstration sites for good agricultural practices, including intercropping, agroforestry, green manuring, mulching, and also providing hands-on training to farmers on soil conservation measures. And they are also raising nitrogen fixation trees, which are distributed for distribution to farmers and other stakeholders. Next one, please. We are also involved with some of the collaborative research work in the project soil management in the Pacific Island with the CSIRO and SPC, and we are focusing on 2 farming communities in Fiji, which is Maniveni and Nambutu, focusing on vegetables and root crops. And we have also carried out some soil survey work, and this data will be used to renew the data for the soil portal, and we will be using conventional method of analysis and also use the NIR and MR to generate data for the soil portal. Next one, please. We would like to strengthen some of our laboratory soil testing capacity. So we are expecting our major renovation end by end of November to December. So all the equipment that is here, we would like to have it installed and upgraded. And we would also integrate use of MIR, NR. We are also participating in the laboratory proficiency program and would like to work towards the lab accreditation and improve data management and ongoing staff training. Next one, please. In future, we have plans to strengthen our soil physical analysis with all these parameters, and also focus on some biochemical analysis that will be also very useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much also for keeping it short. It's very much appreciated.
Yes.
And very informative. So next we would have Guam. Is there any representative from Guam? If not, we go to Kiribati. Dr. Carotti? I will share my screen again.
Yes.
I'm sharing your slides now. I hope you can see. Please start.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So this is the overview of the agriculture in Kiribati. Kiribati is an atoll island within fertile soil, sandy, and it's also alkaline. And these are the main food crops that we grow. These are the giant swamp taro, the coconut and breadfruit, and other vegetables. But these are the most resilient to the climates, and then also the copra is our main export commodity. Okay, next, please. So the key agriculture issues, as we know that in Kiribati we don't have any labs, no proper soil technicians, and also lacking of equipment. There's also high nutrients deficiency related from the infertile soil. lack of the land tenure system and the land availability. And also we don't have enough water available. We depend on the underground water. But during the drought, we have come up with the salinity. Okay, next. Here are some of the progress activities that we come up with. We have produced the compost incorporated with the tri-litter. We doing the capacity building to farmers. And also we have to trial using the IMO operator to enhance or improve our soil productivity, sample collections, and soil testing using the palin test kits. We encourage our farmers to mulching during the dry season and also smart agriculture practices. We established the agroforestry to all the highlands to improve the productivity and also in promoting NFT plant use. The last one is evaluating of the OBC that we most resilient to our atoll islands. Next. Oh, I think it's finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We quickly go to Marshall Island. I don't recall to have a presentation from Marshall Island. But Randon, if you want to take the floor, please.
Uh, thank you very much. Yahweh, greetings from the Republic of the Marshall Islands. I do not have a presentation, but I do have a statement prepared. My name is Randon Jabrojak, and I currently serve as the Chief of Forestry and the interim Chief of Agriculture for the Ministry of Natural Resources and Commerce. This is my first meeting with the Pacific Soil Partnership, and it is a pleasure to be here. And on behalf of the Honorable Minister Anthony Muller, Secretary Eva Rimas Roberto, and the Ministry, I wish to thank the organizers of this meeting for inviting the Marshall Islands. Having poor soil conditions is one of the biggest and well-known challenges that we face in our agriculture sector. As many of us know, being flat, low-lying coral atolls, our soils are infertile and in most cases unsuitable for agriculture production, especially for vegetables and other annual crops. Most of our country's soils are limited in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, iron, copper, and manganese. And to enrich the soil with such nutrients, it takes time, effort, money, and other resources, which are necessary means that not all farmers may have. There is a common recipe that our experimental farms and local farmers use, which are various ratios of shredded green waste like coconut fronds and tree branches, etc., pig manure, copra meal, and if available, fish meal. However, farmers are often in a hurry to have their farms prepared, ready to grow crops, and want to find easier and quicker solutions. Thus, many tend to use copra meal alone as fertilizers, just an example, because it is quicker and it provides the nitrogen the crops need, but it requires money, of course. So those farmers who are active make a living from producing fruits and vegetables. So in a lot of cases, time is of the essence. And although the expertise in soil improvement and management can be provided to Marshallese farmers, we have no record of just how much these practices are actually improving the soil content. Therefore, capacity building in soil testing and analysis is currently needed for our staff and also to our farmers and farmers associations. With this, we will be able to have a baseline data that can be shared to our farmers, our government, and to our partners in country and overseas for the purposes of decision making, development of projects, and for the betterment of our services to the communities. There is still room for improvement in terms of improving our soil conditions in the Marshall Islands, and we are grateful for the assistance that have been received in the past and look forward to further collaboration with you all from this day forward. And Komotada, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thanks to you, Randon. After Marshall Island, let's give it another trial. We try with Micronesia. Is there anyone from Micronesia at the meeting? Marliter, are you here? Okay. Then let's go to Nauru. Nauru has very bad connections, as they said by email, but they should be here and eventually available to make a statement. So Hesse, would you like to take the floor? If you didn't lose the connection meanwhile. I see you. Yes. We can hear you. Yes.
Hi. For Nauru case, our soil quality is it's similar to Kiribati and Marshall. So it's still the challenges we're facing now is the we have water shortages and also and we have
I'm sorry, I'm
compost
stopping you
such as
because we
organic
cannot
matches
hear.
and even the copra mixing with the soil. So we have. Can you hear me?
Very, very badly.
Oh,
It's breaking
maybe
a
I'll
lot.
just turn off video.
You have a video? Okay.
Testing.
Okay, we can try. Otherwise,
Can you hear
if
me?
you can send us the statement in the chat, I can read it loud on your behalf.
Yeah, I turn off the video so we can have a better connection. Can you hear me?
You can try.
Okay. So we don't have a presentation, but I think we can just, can you hear me? Testing.
Yes.
So for agriculture issues, we don't have a soil laboratory. We don't have a proper soil technician. We have the equipment here, but we don't have the capability, the capacity to use the soil equipment testing kit. Our soil is infertile as well. And also we have a testing. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So those are most of the agriculture issues that we're facing right here, right now. And the activities that we've been doing is just doing organic composting, mostly, and doing mulching as well. And also for smart agriculture practices, such as trying to conserve water. And I think if I could ask some of my colleagues if they have any inputs. Oh. Okay, I think that's for all for Nauru. Yep, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone from New Caledonia? If not, we go to New Zealand. Sam, over to you. I can share the screen.
Sure, that would be great. Thanks, Lucrezia.
Just a second. Too many presentations open. Over to you.
Kia ora. This slide highlights areas of activity in New Zealand relevant to the PSP interests. New legislative protection has been put in place for highly productive land to minimise cumulative effects of urban development and the spread of rural residential development. There was a ministerial inquiry into land use and management following Cyclone Gabrielle. The cyclone has seen increased emphasis on evaluating future erosion risk and options for improved management, particularly smarter targeting of erosion controls. New Zealand has a lot of activity and interest in both monitoring and methods to improve soil health. In the last year, there has been work commenced to revise both the range of attributes that are measured and the target values that we're using to assess progress. There's also been work on establishing ecological soil guideline values in relation to soil trace element contaminants. The effects of land management activities on fresh water quality continues to be of importance, both on the nature of contaminant losses, but also on options to improve or change management practices. A lot of activity around soil carbon, both in terms of ongoing monitoring, but also processes which govern soil carbon changes. For example, how trees in the landscape in farmland can influence soil carbon levels. New Zealand has some large research programs looking at how regenerative farming practices could work in our different environments and farm systems. This generally involved establishment of large paired farm trials to compare the effects of changes in practice. Kia ora. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Next would be New. Is there anyone from New here? What about Mariana Islands? Northern Mariana Islands. I remind you that we are listing SPC member countries and territories. Okay, then Palau. Then we go to PNG. Patrick, are you with us? I don't have a presentation from your side, but I saw you register. So hopefully you are with us now, but I cannot see you. Oh yeah, yes, I see you. Patrick? Yes, I don't have a presentation, but if you have a presentation, please feel free to share your screen or otherwise make a short statement. Thanks. We cannot hear you, huh? We still can't hear you. What if I go to the next speaker and then I come back to you so you have the time to fix your audio? I can't hear, but I hope you agree. Pitcairn. Do we have anyone from Pitcairn? No. Then Samoa. Abdul, are you with us? David, yes, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. Well, first of all, I just got invited about 2 or 3 days ago, and I haven't been up to date with the PSP work. I no longer have any official role in the ministry. I'm just an advisor to the minister, and I see two of us from Samoa are attending. Where one is Dr. Nat Ugavalani, but it's good to be part of this again. Just a general observation. Although we have, I think, 2 or 3 different types of soil in our region, excluding Australia and New Zealand, in the Pacific Island countries, the coralline soil, the atolls, and the organic soils from the volcanic islands. The observation is that we face similar challenges with regards to soil productivity and soil health. I look forward to receive invitations, although I no longer have an official role. I'm just a small soil scientist, so that I can somehow be part of the of GSP. I would also like to request, given that some of us, almost likely only me, haven't been attending previous meetings, if the presentations can be shared. And I will advise the CEO of the ministry to perhaps have somebody from the ministry to attend these meetings. I'm not sure why there's no representative from the USP Alpha campus, which locates the School of Agriculture, because they also have soil scientists there. And I would like to ask if it's allowable, agreeable. Nat has been attending this meeting from Samoa. Perhaps he may also want to add something to say. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, David, for taking the floor and speaking on behalf of Samoa. Points well noted. I'm actually reading the chat. Sorry to apologize to the interpreters for my slow reaction. On behalf of the interpreters, indeed, can I ask everybody that is taking the floor to please turn on their video if the connection allows, and to try to speak a bit slower. This will very much help with the interpretation services. I will also do an effort to speak slower. Okay, after Samoa, we go to Solomon Islands. Marvin, are you with us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I can also share screen for your presentation.
Okay.
Over to you, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and hello, Okeda. Okay, Solomon Island has similar issues and challenges, just like all the other Pacific islands. We have almost 1,000 islands. We have atolls. We have small, low-lying islands, and we also have the big islands. Okay, so today I'm just gonna talk about our labs in the Solomons. So I'm Marvin from the Solomon Island National University, and today I will only talk about two labs. So we have Solomon Island, we have the National Public Health Lab, which caters for all the analysis from water and some with soil and also food. And we also have the university lab, which I am. We have two labs, one for the School of Science, and the other one is for the School of Agriculture, which I am at. Next slide, please. So you can see from here, it's just a description of the national lab and its services. So it serves all the farmers, companies, and their analysis on the table shown. Next slide, please. Oh, yeah, so that's a continuation of the different analysis. The one with the shaded one is the one related with soil. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the section on the university. So we carried out, we can cater for few analysis, and right now is only few companies and researchers came to use the service. It's not commercialized like other labs, but it's just ongoing, and we're still developing. And we also face a few challenges. Next slide, please. So you can see from the challenges, we have lack of standard method. So lack of standard method of analyzing certain type of analysis. We don't have the exact, or we don't have like a standard. And then we also have limitations on technicians and also funds, and also limitations on reagents and the gas. So our machine, the gas is really expensive here, and also the electric energy. So these are some of the things that are challenges. And we also have, we also working on, now the National Lab is also working on accreditation process right now. So I think this is just a short presentation of Solomon Islands. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. After Solomon Islands, we are supposed to have Tokelau. Is there anyone from Tokelau at the meeting? If not, we go to Tonga. Viliami, are you with us? I can't see you. So what about Tuvalu? Matthew, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Super. I will share my screen for your presentation.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Greetings to you all and good afternoon. My name is Matthew Lunalona, Director of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture in Tuvalu. So it is a pleasure and honor on behalf of the government of Tuvalu and also the Department of Tuvalu to provide an update on the soil of Tuvalu. Next slide, please. So just to give a brief background of soil of Tuvalu. Tuvalu is one of the smallest countries in the Pacific and is classified as an atolls. So it is relying heavily on imported foodstuff, poor soils, low water holding capacity, vulnerability to climate change and sea level rises, which lead to the occurrences of new incursions, pests, and disease. Tuvalu soils are usually limiting in most of the essential nutrients, as was mentioned by our other atoll countries, needed for plant growth, which is nitrogen, potassium, and micronutrients such as iron, manganese, copper, zinc. Soils that do not have wet guano depositions also show phosphorus deficiency. Therefore, target compost and wicking paste system have been shown to improve productivity of the Tuvalu atoll soils. Due to climate change, drought is become more regular witness. Next slide. Due to the soil erosion, the Department of Agriculture and Environment is working closely in planting of some of the trees along the coastal areas. And it is also important to take into consideration some capacity building and in-country training on soil management and target compost. So the Department of Agriculture is working closely with the Live and Land, which is an NGOs, in advocating the food cubes and ensuring to use the right recipe or ingredients for the target compost. Currently, the Department of Agriculture and Live and Land has honor and privilege to work closely with Dr. Siosiwa Halvatau in preparing our soil health strategy and also in country for some of the capacity training. It is also, we have a Jeff funded project under the FAO on integrated agro ecosystem approach in enhancing livelihood and climate resilience into while what the department trying to do, we're trying to streamlining into some of the component under this project into the soil management. Next slide, please. So those are some of the progress work on soil, especially on food cubes. Together with the Live and Land, you can see some of the plants that we're trying to plant around the coastal area, such as the calophyllum, the fish tree poisons and also the apple trees. Not the apple like the one in New Zealand, but it's local native trees in Tuvalu. And also then trying to advocate the type of recipe, whatever that we can put into our food cubes, which is very important for us, especially the atoll, as was mentioned by our other country nations or other countries friends. It is limiting some of the challenges, but we're trying our very best to improve using those system approach so that we can ensure sustainable and sustainability of food for the livelihood of the Tuvaluan people. I think that's all from Tuvalu, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much to you for presenting and for being with us today. Vanuatu, do we have anyone from Vanuatu at the meeting? Wales and Futuna? Okay, then let me go back to Micronesia. Marliter, are you with us? No. Then let's give it another try with Papua New Guinea. Patrick, can you try to talk, please? I hope you solved your audio issue. If you are talking, we cannot hear you. Maybe sometimes to me it happens with the headset. If I see you are wearing them, so maybe if you can try to interact without the headset.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I remove the headset. Okay, I'm in a closed space, so it's okay.
Over to you. Thanks.
Okay. We are ready now?
Yes, I don't recall to have a presentation from you. So
No, I don't have a record presentation, so I'll just step in and make a statement. Will that be okay? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, this is actually my first time to attend one of these meetings. Actually, I'm from the Forest Research Institute, part of the Papua New Guinea Forest Authority. As the focal point person, so my talk will basically cover the areas of sustainable soil management in Papua New Guinea. It relates to agriculture and forestry. But like I said, coming from forestry, where my interest a lot in the soil work background, this is what I'm going to present here. Like the others have already shared from the country that I had, we also have in Papua New Guinea some similar challenges. Like in Papua New Guinea alone, we have it's quite a big country, so to speak, because of the size of the country. We have different soil types, from the lowland to highland and the coastal islands. Those are the areas, and the agriculture and forestry practices again they varied a lot in terms of where there is a large scale agriculture, commercial agriculture happening in the flat and valley areas where they plant cocoa, coffee, oil palm, coconut. And again, in forestry, we have issues, related to soil degradation. That is a lot of logging that is taking place in those areas. This sort of the contribute to the degradation of soil. We have a high rainfall in the country. It contributes to erosion, and these are the things that are happening that is contributing to degradation of soil, and also there's a high growth rate of a population. And again, I mentioned population because population, they put a lot of pressure on the agriculture spaces, and then the people tend to be cultivating the same areas over and over again, increased use of fertilizer
and that is also contributing to the changes in the natural properties. I would say this time, I think what is happening now in Papua New Guinea, I can say that I'm in Forest Research Institute. We are undertaking a national forest. A multi-purpose forest inventory, and part of the component of biodiversity and assessment, we also do a soil survey in all those areas. So we're undertaking basically getting to know the status of the nutrients in the soil in the forested areas, including some recently logged areas. This is part of what the forestry actually doing. And in agriculture sector, I know that agriculture, we have a lot of research I say a lot of researches, but not enough information that is available from those researches. We have the universities undertaking research. We have the National Agriculture Research Institute. We have the Coffee Research Institute, Cocoa Research Institute, Coconut Research Institute. They're all doing work on soil. They also undertake their own surveys and research and information build up. But we're having a challenge here because a lot of this information are not being, openly shared. I don't know, for commercial reasons. But we are grateful that now we've taken in a project with the CSRO, Asia funding that we call it a sustainable land management in the use of soils in a better, application of soil information for the use in the farmers and all these areas. So I think part of this I see also included in this what will be discussed in the coming day. So some of this work is to help we looking at revitalizing what we call a Papua New Guinea resource information system. That's where a lot of soil information is there. A lot of this work was initially done by CSRO. We built those information. So currently, we're trying to do this work in case studies with some farmers in those areas to try to help them to make sure that they, take up the available information from research and they apply it in those areas, because the use of information from research is very much low in Papua New Guinea. Although there's been a history of long land use of, use of land and soil over the years. They value land because this way basically a lot of people from the rural areas rely on this. But the information that is generated are not getting down to those people. I'm going back to the National Forest Inventory. What we are doing is we undertake basic the nutrients from the soil, that is all the results. We undertake field surveys. All our soils are being sent to Landcare in New Zealand. They analyze this from those accredited labs. They come back. We are outsourcing a lot of this because we don't really have the access to the laboratories in Papua New Guinea. There is only one national agricultural laboratory and one national the analysis laboratory that is based in Leh. But the others, like the university and others, we don't take the result from them because they're not accredited. And for my work, I also involved some work in the assessing the soils in mangrove now. I advise those NGOs that I work with, we send our soils samples straight to accredited laboratories in Australia and we bring them there. Similar to other countries, we have to harmonize our methods and have standards on how we do the laboratory analysis so that it's understood and the results can be interpreted and understood and probably given to the farmers so that they also take those results. So at the moment, we don't have that. But for the field surveys, we have methods that are almost standardized, they're generic, in other words, similar to what we adopted from the FAO's methodologies. This is what we use, but it's just the laboratory that is capacity related. This is something that we also have challenges. It's quite costly to run this. It's quite costly to import what we call chemical reagents to undertake this test. So these are some things that we're facing in the country. And a lot of these are similar to the other countries. For us, is for the government-run institutions, it's a shortage of funding. That is another thing that is we usually are very selective on what we assess and what we measure. That is what we normally do in here. Otherwise, I think a lot of the work that we are now looking into now is to improve the way that information can get into the farmers so that they can undertake correctly in applying agriculture, what suitable crops or tree crops in which areas that we see that the natural ability of the soil in retaining or in providing the sustaining those crops or the trees would remain for some time. I think that's about what I can be presenting. And once again, thank you very much for giving us that opportunity, Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
Many thanks to you. And since I received a message about Tonga, let's give it a last trial. Peyonetti, do you want to talk about Tonga? I see you are the official representative for the country in here. Peyonetti Louis? Okay. I thank you everybody for your insights on what's happening in your countries. It was very, very interesting. Actually, I forgot something very important at the beginning of this meeting, that is taking a group picture. So although we are not all together in the same place, we are meeting online. I would like to take a group picture. Can you please all turn on your cameras? And I will take a series of screenshots. Cameras on, please, and give me your best smile. I will tell you when to start smiling. Okay, a few more cameras that have to be turned on. Okay, I have to take 2 pictures, so keep your smile on, okay? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait. Now the second screen. 1, 2, 3, smile. Give me a second. One more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. And sorry for the overlook at the beginning. Okay. Now I'm sorry, you will have a bit more of me because I'm also moderating the next session that is actually on partners interventions. Again, if you like, I share my screen, but if you're confident sharing yours, please feel free to do it. We start with the Australasian Soil and Plant Analysis Council, ASPAC. Today we have Nell Paisley, Deputy Chair and ACT Rep of the Workshop Coordinator of ASPAC to present. Nell, over to you, please. Nell? Okay, let me go then to CSIRO, so the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization. We have Miss Uta Stockman to talk. Uta, you want me to share my screen, right?
Yes, please, Lucretia.
Okay, it's coming.
And you can go straight to the second slide, please.
Yes. You should be
So
able to
thank you,
see it.
everyone. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity for giving an update on what we at CSIRO are working on in the region. We really appreciate that opportunity. We are Australia's national science agency and are solving the greatest challenges through innovative science and technology. At CSIRO, we are working with governments, the research sector, industry, and the community to deliver impact under the challenges through large-scale scientific research initiatives. And very important for the region is to work on enhancing the health and well-being, improving food security and quality, and securing Australia in the region through building resilient and valuable environments, sustainable energy and resources, and to create Australia's future sustainable jobs and industries. I will now give
an overview of what we are working on in Australia. Lucretia, the next slide, please. I'm going to focus on 3 major projects that we are working on, funded by the Australian government and linked to the implementation of the National Soil Strategy that Rowena from the Department of Agriculture presented in the beginning. ANSYS, our Australian National Soil Information System, has been launched this year. ANSYS provides a mechanism for trusted exchange of soil data from multiple sources, and it is working or has been implemented along with 3 fundamental requirements for an information system. That is governance, data and information as of standards and standardized vocabularies, and also according with the technical architecture that can deliver data in a federated and harmonized way through an easy to navigate through user interface. ANSYS is delivering available data in a nationally consistent, standardized, analysis-ready format. And the value of the information system is really that data can be found efficiently, can be accessed efficiently, and used. Next slide, please, Lucretia. Intermittently linked to the Australian National Soil Information System will be our new National Soil Monitoring Program, which has been initiated to increase our understanding of soil condition and trends with relation to climate, land use, and land management practices. The NSMP, as we call it, is currently in its design phase until October this year. And in the design phase, we have established a comprehensive soil monitoring network across Australia, a very diverse continent. And the network accounts for differing soil types, climate, and land uses. The delivering phase of the NSMP will start with the first round of soil sampling later this year and through to June 2028. It will include onboarding of collaborators and service providers and will therefore also provide an opportunity to train and engage with a wide-ranging cohort of people and also enabling extension of soil knowledge. Next slide, please. Another big funding in the soil space that we deliver from is the Terrestrial Ecosystem Research Network. Under TURN, we have established the Australian Soil Moisture Integration and Prediction System that is delivering soil moisture data for all of Australia daily. SMIPs, as we call it, can be used along with other relevant data for purposes such as fertilizer application planning, irrigation scheduling, fire risk assessment, and also as a component of a general landscape condition assessment. And as you can see on the slide, it draws from a variety of different data sources, also including the soil and landscape grid of Australia soil attribute maps. Next slide, please. To conclude, I will talk about briefly also of what we are working in the Pacific Islands region. The aim of our work in the region is to contribute to soil and food security under a changing climate through improving and farming systems resilience. We are delivering this aim through several focus areas. Very important is our aim to build capability and knowledge transfer, to work in partnerships, that is working together towards outcomes, including co-designing projects and activities with everyone involved, our partners, policymakers, as well as the farming community. As we've heard through some presentations from the countries, we are also working on improving our soil information systems in the region in close collaboration with our partners from Manaki Whenua Landcare Research. Through the Pacific Soils Portal, we have resurrected and utilized soil legacy data in the region in one digital soil portal that translate the soil information to soil knowledge for informed decision making that can also underpin land and crop suitability assessments. Under our project work in the region, we are also collecting new soil condition or baseline data to assess soil change and to underpin, hopefully, soil monitoring practices. We are also improving the soil measurement capability in the region. Roslyn mentioned that we are working on not only introducing basic soil measurement, but also rapid soil analysis tools, including soil spectroscopy for more cost-effective analysis of the soil. And we are also improving the soil data interpretation and translation. That means working on, with our partners, what do all the numbers mean to inform policymakers, for example. We are also focusing on farming systems work, improving soil condition function and health, and working towards sustainable and resilient soil management. We are looking into solutions to overcome barriers to sustainable soil management by adopting conservation agriculture practices, but also determining their feasibility in a regional context and identifying the most equitable and accessible technology and practice that are fit for purpose. We are doing this also with the farming community through on-farm trials. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much to you, Uta. Now we go to New Zealand. We have a combined presentation from Manaki Whenua Landcare Research and Plant and Food Research New Zealand. So it's a pleasure to give the floor to Sam Carrick, Portfolio Leader Characterizing Land Resources at Manaki Whenua Landcare Research, and Craig Anderson, Soil Scientist at the Plant and Food Research of New Zealand. Sam and Craig, the floor is yours. If you like, I can display your presentation.
Yes, that would be great. Thanks. Lucrezia, if you could share the presentation.
Yep, it's coming. Over to you.
Sure. Manaki Whenua has a number of current collaborations relevant to the interests of the PSP. We've been working on the technical maintenance and ongoing expansion of the Pacific Soils Portal, just mentioned by Uta. A large part of that, I've got a couple of examples here, is saving, books don't show, but saving a lot of legacy research and soil reports that have been done in the Pacific there. So, and progress will be presented tomorrow by James Barringer in his talk. Just want to recognise that it's a multinational collaboration with funding support from ACR, CSIRO and Manaki Whenua. The New Zealand Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Trade supported assessment of the impact of the 2021 volcanic eruption and tsunami on Tongan soils. This was, again, a multi-agency collaboration, as noted on the slide, with the work led by Siwa, Sione, and the MAF team, together with the soil scientists from CSIRO. Manaki Whenua is supporting the New Zealand Society of Soil Science and Soil Science Australia to host the Soils Rotorua Conference and associated pre-events in late November and early December this year. It's great to see a strong participation from our Pacific partners, and Gigi and Pierre will provide further information in their talks. Next slide, thanks, Lucrezia. Our next initiative is a proposal currently being evaluated by our funders. This involves partnering with the Ministries of Agriculture and Environment and agricultural research organisations in Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, Vanuatu, Cook Islands and Niue. The proposed work includes supporting soil health management, labs, soil security strategies and Indigenous soil management knowledge. Where possible, the project will align with other in-country activities and projects. I'll now pass over the presentation to Craig from Plant and Food Research.
Thanks, Lucretia. Thanks, Sam. So I would like to introduce the Climate Smart Pacific Food Systems Program, which Plant and Food Research has just received funding from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So we've just entered year one of a 4-year program. So this program, next slide, please. This program is proposed for Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Fiji, Samoa, and Tonga, and recognises, firstly, the fundamental role that agriculture and food systems play in over 80% of people's livelihoods in the Pacific, and the existential threat that climate change poses for food production and food security. The goal of the Climate Smart Pacific Food Systems Program is to build the well-being and resilience of communities to the impacts of climate change through Pacific-led climate smart food systems. So Plant and Food Research wants to achieve this through integrating climate smart agricultural practices from both traditional knowledge and science while adapting to local contexts. In comparison to the larger scale focus of Manaki Whenua Landcare Research, this program will be explicitly focused on assisting smallholder farming communities in the Pacific, supporting their adaptation to the significant adverse effects of climate change on food production and food security through adopting climate smart agricultural practices, and will provide climate change science and research to local research and other organisations. Plant and Food Research is working with a variety of partners in each country, ranging from ministries of agriculture, agricultural research organisations, the private sector, and NGOs. Slide 3, please. There are 3 technical components that make up this program. First is climate smart food production systems. So this could include things like pest and disease management, crop diversification, resilient crop varieties and biodiversity. Number 2 is stewardship of water, land and waste. So this can include soil health, agroforestry, use of organic waste, and adaptation practices. And finally, sustainable resilient food value chains. So this includes nutritious crops, market opportunities, empowerment of women and youth, and reducing losses and waste. Across all 5 countries, the program will use a participatory rural appraisal model, which was developed for use in rural contexts for participatory research, agro-ecosystem analysis, and farming systems research. A participatory action research approach will also underpin the country programs. This approach enables communities and farmers to identify the climate change challenges and meaningfully engage and lead the pathway to solutions. So it's very much a program where our Pacific partners will be leading the research, and we will be helping them with the expertise. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sam, and thanks very much, Craig. It was very interesting. Let me give it another try with ASPAC. Nell, are you with us, or is there anyone from ASPAC that will act as alternate of Nell at the meeting today? If not, I will follow up with them by email and eventually reschedule their intervention for tomorrow. Okay, now I would like to pass the moderation to Uta for the last part of today's meeting. Just a remark on the agenda, based on what stated in the opening remarks of Director Mapuzua from SPC, I think that it would be best to discuss the new governance of the partnership tomorrow. So we have the time to do a follow-up on the statement today. So Uta, I would say that we close after plans for Pacific Week of Agriculture and Forestry 2024, if that's fine with everybody. And we discuss the governance all at once tomorrow.
That sounds good.
Okay,
Any
over to
objections
you.
from anyone? Okay, thank you, Lucretia. And it would be great if you could please share the presentations if there are any, and if they have been shared with you on my behalf, and navigate through them. Thank you so much. Before starting the session, I just wanted to say there's a lot of opportunities coming up in the next couple of months to come together and in face-to-face and in person to discuss our work in soils in the region further at the New Zealand conference that we will hear about, but also at the upcoming Pacific Week of Agriculture in Tonga that we will hear about as well. So let's make the most out of those opportunities. And before saying anything further, I would like to invite Rohit Lal, who is the new soil scientist since last year at SPC Land Resources Division, to speak to us. Thank you, Rohit. Do you have a presentation?
Thank you, Lucretia. Are you going to share my presentation?
Yes, I can do it. You should see it now.
Next slide, please. Thank you, respected scientific organizations, distinguished focal points. So basically, I'm here to present on SPC's role at the 2023 Pacific Week of Agriculture. Three important things were endorsed, and one of them was elevation of soil security in the region. SPC to serve as the secretariat for PSP. SPC to serve as a secretariat for PSP to coordinate the resourcing and implementation of its activities across the Pacific region. And the last one was the development of PSP governance and strategic priorities to support soil research and capacity development needs be in line with the GSP Action Framework 2022 to 2023. Next slide, please. In relation to these three, the first one, SPC to serve as a secretariat for PSP. SPC has recently recruited a coordinator, PSP coordinator, and thanks to Australian government for supporting this. The PSP coordinator is responsible for Pacific Soils Partnership Network, network functions, and the ongoing management of the network organizations to achieve its shared mission. The person is responsible to build PSP capacity through technical support on program development to support regional collaboration on soil management and research activities in the region. As seen in the photo on the side, GSP is there. Soils coordinator is to link Pacific Island countries through the soils partnership to GSP and FAO. Next slide, please. On the second recommendation that was done in the Pacific Week of Agriculture, development of PSP governance and strategic priority. The consultancy was advertised months ago, but unfortunately there was no application, or nobody applied for that consultancy. So it has been re-advertised. Please, could you share this link with all soil scientists and through your networks so that we could so that a consultant could develop the governance framework and Pacific soil strategy. Next slide, please. The third priority that was listed or that was endorsed by the Pacific heads of agriculture was that strategic priorities to support soil research and capacity development needs. In Darwin, Australia in 2023, the region found the region documented key priorities, and this included soil fertility and nutrient management, erosion and acidification, enhancing soil testing capacity and extension services, strengthening soil monitoring efforts, improving data collection and dissemination, advancing capacity building and network initiatives. The partnership is aids to persist in addressing these priorities and moving forward. I think this is all the presentation from SPC. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit. And I would now like to hand over to Pierre Vaudier from Menaki Fenway Land Care Research. He is a senior scientist at Landcare, but he's also a council member of the New Zealand Soil Science Society and the chair of the organizing committee for the New Zealand Society of Soil Science and Soil Science Australia joint conference in December this year. Pierre, looking forward to hear from you.
Thanks, Huta. Lucrezia, is it possible to share my slides?
I'm actually looking for your slide. I don't
I got them somewhere.
The title.
It should be soils rotorua _6 PSP.
Do you have them at hand? For some reason, I can't find them.
Yes. Hold on. Yep, I should have them somewhere.
I'm so sorry.
That's all good. Yeah, I found them. I just need to find remember how to share screen. Oh shit, share screen. Can you just let me know when you can see the slides?
I found them, yeah. But you can share your screen, please.
Okay, I think I beat you to it. Excellent. Well, no, thanks both of you. Tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for your invitation to speak today. Look, the message, my message today is pretty simple. I, as the chair of the organizing committee of the Soils Rotorua conference, it's my pleasure and honor to sort of extend the invitation to you all and join us in Rotorua, which is located in the North Island of New Zealand, for a week of soil science and sort of presentation exchange in December this year. So this is the week of the World Soils Day. So traditionally, that joint New Zealand Soil Science Society and Soil Science Australia conference occurs every 4 years and is probably the major regional soils conference, and definitely the biggest. It will also be the sort of first one sort of face-to-face ever since COVID. Right, the last big event we've had with our Australian colleagues would have been Queenstown in 2016, I believe, and then we sort of had to do things a little bit separately due to COVID. So it's fantastic that we have the chance to see each other again and have some face-to-face interaction. Now, I think this time around, we are also pretty keen to add more focus on the Pacific and to sort of go beyond the traditional bounds of New Zealand and Australia. And we've already had a lot of interest from colleagues from the Pacific, and Rotorua being one of the main center of the Maori culture, we see it fit to invite over the larger Pacific community to come and share soil science in Rotorua. The other things I wanted to mention is that the weekend before the conference will be the Moana Oceania Soil Judging Competition. For those who are not so familiar with the concept of soil judging competition, it's a unique format a unique vector to develop and foster the sort of soil assessment skills that are essential in terms of capacity development. So the competition will occur over 3 days prior to the 4 days of conference, 2 days of training, one day of competition. We already had quite a few teams registered from New Zealand, from Australia, but also from the Pacific. There's even been interest from the US, and I think it's good demonstration that this the format of soil judging competition internationally is taking more and more importance, and we're already delighted to bring what will be hopefully the sort of largest event so far in the region. And very grateful for the support of Gigi and others in bringing some Pacific colleagues to that competition. In terms of important dates, so as I said, the soil judging competition will sort of take place from the Thursday night, 3 days of soil judging, and the conference itself will start on Monday the 2nd and end on Thursday the 5th, which is World Soils Day. So we'll have a little bit of a celebration there. You'll note on the Tuesdays, the second day of the conference, and field trips. We have 3 different field trips, which will showcase the unique landscapes of Rotorua. You even may be able to go on top of a volcano and just enjoy the fantastic landscapes this region has to offer. So that's it for me, really. It's my privilege to extend this invitation to you, and we dearly hope to see you in Rotorua towards the end of the year. 2 very important dates for you to consider is the deadline for abstract has been extended to the end of this month, and the early bird registration ends sort of mid-October. Nami Nui.
Thank you, Pierre. That looks great. Looking forward to it already. Okay, and to conclude our session, we're going back to Siwa, who's going to give us a bit of an introduction of the plans towards the Pacific Week of Agriculture and Forestry 2024 in Tonga. Siwa, do you have slides to share?
No, I'm just going to just say something, but my camera is not allowing me to. So maybe I just present. I think what is most important here is that the Pacific Week of Agriculture is coming. It's in next May, and the date has been approved. So it's organized jointly by SPC Land Resource Divisions and FAO and the Tonga government or the Ministry of Agriculture. So by way of the Pacific Soil Partnership, I think the suggestion is if we can look at holding a side event, the form of the side event we should be discussing as we progress, whether it's a set of workshops or something. But then I think we have seen quite a lot of work that has been done in the Pacific. And I think as a partnership, we should also be finding the right platform to show off some of these works. And I suggest to the Pacific Island countries to please come forward with some work that we have done in the countries to show off at this time, because this is the venue or the platform where our ministers and our directors, they come to. And there will be others from donors and all to come to that. So it could be side events in the form of presenting results of our work, even regional work, the work that CSRO is doing, the work that Land Care is supporting in the Pacific. But we also should find a way to make sure that we could capture the crowd for the whole of the Pacific Week by probably having a stall where we can put up our soil bottle. Because I always advocate, I was with James Barinsa. James will talk about it tomorrow. James and I have been involved in this soil bottle. We went around the Pacific. And one of the biggest problems in the Pacific is, though we have been heavily soil surveyed, using of the data by our countries have been rather minimal. So we have to show them through the portal somewhere in there how the soil bottle and the data that we have generated over the years could be used for our agricultural development. So what I'm suggesting is that in the Pacific Week of Agriculture, and for that one, together with the discussion of our governance, we maybe Lucretia and Rohit think of a group that could meet and decide what are we going to do, because we are not far off. It's next May to decide what we should do as a side event. whether the side event could be a workshop instead of presentation, or we can do it like a place where we can show off posters of our work and have that can stand for the whole week, and also show off the Pacific soil portal, because it has a button for everything, right from soil survey to soil management. Well, I think that is what I have suggested, and maybe I've taken us 1 minute over 2 o'clock, but that is the last part. Thank you.
Thank you, Siwa. And some great suggestions. And yes, you're right. There's still a bit of time, but yes, we should start to think about the side events. And the working group is probably a good suggestion to make that happen. Can you share the actual dates in May, Siwa? Did I miss that of the Pacific Week of Ag? Or are they still
Sorry,
being
I'm not
decided
really
on?
sure. I think in the third week, but I think Rohit should know the exact dates, because SPC and FAO team were here about a couple of weeks back already to start discussing on the way forward on this. But I think it is around the third week. I
Okay.
can find the exact date and share it, but it is in May, around after the mid of May.
Okay, thank you. Let's share the dates if we can, maybe tomorrow, Lucretia. Yes, so thank you everyone for your presentations. There's a lot to look forward to. Lucretia, I'm going to hand over to you to finish us.
Thank you very much,
close off.
Jutta. And also, I would like to thank all the speakers of today. Tomorrow there will be more time for discussion. Tomorrow is really much focus on decision making. We will see if ASPAC will be able to attend and present because they missed to attend today, but we will try to give them a slot of time also tomorrow. Then tomorrow we will talk about the status of the World Soil Resources Report 2025, the implementation of the decisions made at the last session of the Global Soil Partnership Plenary Assembly. And on this, we will touch on the regional representation of the Pacific on GSP networks, but also the contribution of the Pacific to other initiatives by the Global Soil Partnership. We will have a talk about burning. Sorry, I think I was muted at some point. I was saying that after the burning issues, we will also talk about the governance. And I think the very, very hot topics of today will be the technical work being undertaken in the Pacific. We will talk about the assessment of the capacity and sustainability of Pacific agricultural chemistry laboratories. We will talk about the Pacific work plan on soil analysis, and we will talk about the Pacific soil portal. So a lot to discuss tomorrow. We will have a series of very short presentation, and then we will give you the floor. We are really counting on your active interaction and feedback and suggestions for improvement. With this, I would like to close today's session. Again, I thank everybody that took the floor, all presenters, all moderators, and all the interpreters, of course, and the IT colleagues that are providing support. So thanks again and see you tomorrow.